Welcome to another episode of Behind the Dreamers with the Starter Girls. I'm Jennifer Loading.
And I'm Brianna Andrelas, and we are talking to the achievers, the creators, the makers, and the dreamers today.
These are our friends, these are your friends, and they are living the extraordinary. Today's episode is brought to you by Walt Mills Photographer of Glad Models Agency. If you are here in the Dallas or surrounding area and looking for some photography work, check out Walt Mills. You can learn more about him and his work at photosbywalt.com. All right, we're super excited. We have a guest in the studio today.
Hooray!
Yes, we have Rob here today. So let's tell our listeners a little bit about him, and then we will get going on this show.
Wonderful.
All right, Rob Bliss is the founder and CEO of SmartOffice USA, your one-stop shop for everything office technology and Purple Cow branding, your partner for all things website, video production, branding, and social media. With almost 40 years of sales experience, Rob has knocked on over 25,000 doors, made over 50,000 phone calls, presented over 5,000 proposals, and sold millions of dollars in equipment sales. But his most prized accomplishments come from the relationships he's made over the years and the prospects and networkers who have become friends. As a Canadian native, Rob is passionate about Tim Hortons coffee, the Toronto Maple Leafs, and the great sport of curling, which you got to tell me about that. Ooh. He's an avid networker and reader with over 700 books in his library, which is open to anyone who would like to stop by, have a one-on-one, and get a free book. So welcome to the show, Rob. We're excited to have you here.
Thank you.
This is such an awesome...
That is such a cool bio.
Is it not?
Yes.
It's kind of fun.
5,000, that's a lot of proposals.
I know. Yes. I'm stuck on the 25,000 doors and 50,000 phone calls.
I've been around a long time.
Yeah. Well, no, the 25,000 door thing, I mean, like that right there, that I've done calls, I've done cold calling and done sales. I've been in sales, but I've not knocked on doors.
Well, back in the 80s, that when I first started in sales, that's all we had. We didn't have the internet back then.
True.
And so that was really the number one way to generate new business is knock, knock, knock.
Yeah.
And really, you know what? To this day, great memories of that. And, it's something that, I still love to do. Maybe not quite at that level.
Right.
But, just going on and meeting people, to me, it's more friendlier than picking up the phone, sending an email, and so on. But just, and not many people cold call anymore. So it's you get better reception nowadays. So it still is a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Yeah. And, for those of you tuning in, you can't see Rob, but he has a button on his shirt that says, I love networking.
Yes.
Yeah. And this is obviously, this bio says a lot about you. Yeah. But, your love for networking and your love for people, probably.
Well, absolutely. Networking, I'm in the fourth quarter of my career, and it's a great opportunity for me now to give back to my community. And networking, I'm just passionate about it. And I really feel like I'm still on my journey of learning to become a better networker. Mm. And I go at it every day, and I want to help other people, young people just graduating from college, people who have made that corporate transition and now have to network. Right. I really want to, and I'm working on an online course about this, which I hope to release in the fall. But I think, networking is such a fun way to grow your business.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and I met Rob at an event actually. And so it's interesting because I am a big networker too, and I believe in it 100%. And honestly, I'm like you. I would rather be face to face with somebody than have to pick up a phone. I hate the phone. I hate the phone. And even with my family, like they're like, you don't call. And I'm like, I hate the phone. Like I can't read people's body language on a phone call.
Exactly.
Like you could be telling me one thing and I need to see your face, Brianna. I need to see if what you're saying is matching your face. Sure. You know what I mean? I can't do that over a phone, Yeah. And so I'm like you. I would rather be in meeting people, building relationships, than having to sit behind an email when you don't really understand the tone of voice or behind a phone and can't read what they're saying to me.
Absolutely. And again, because people don't cold call really anymore,
right.
The gatekeeper doesn't throw you out as much.
Yes.
Yes. And again, because not a lot of people come by, it's like a friendly face walks in there and goes, oh, come on, talk to me. So it really is. It's. I think it's a prime time now to get back into cold calling door to door.
Yeah. No, I think the relational building is important, and it's people try to build businesses and they won't take the time to build those, to do the networking and build the relationships, and then they want magical things to happen, and they don't really happen on surface level business.
Right. And if you really think about it too, is that cold calling door to door really is no different than when you go to a networking event and you're meeting new people for the first time.
Right.
you're really doing the same thing.
Meeting new people for the first time.
So it's really it's that mindset. And so what I'm trying to do is help people change their networking mindset.
Yeah.
And it's the way we approach cold calling.
That's so interesting you say that too, because I talk about the first time. I can tell you where I went to my very first networking meeting, and I remember walking in and I was like, "Where's the bar?" Seriously, where's the bar? I was so overwhelmed because I just didn't really like. It's not that I didn't really like meeting people. It was just awkward. It was kind of like when you were a kid and you'd have those dances or whatever, and everybody would stand against the wall, and you're like, who's gonna talk to whom, or whatever. Who's gonna make that first, And so for a long time, when I would go networking, I would always have to feel like I needed a drink to get me through that. Now I just go in and I'm like, it might be a little weird if I don't know anybody, but my goal was always to go in and be like, I'm gonna meet somebody new, and who am I meeting today? What kind of value am I going to be able to add, and what are they going to be able to add into my world, So
it's really nice.
Yeah.
Well, something too, that's a good point you brought up, Jennifer, because I've got kind of a guide that help you prepared when you go to a networking meeting. Because most times when we go to a networking meeting, it's like you look at your watch, you go, whoops, I got to go to that network. And you just, boom, you drive over there, rush in and kind of show up unprepared.
Right.
And in anything you're doing, if you're unprepared, you're not going to do a good job at it. And so I put this guide together to kind of psych yourself up and get ready and do your homework and see, who the host of the event is, go onto their LinkedIn profile. Sometimes in a certain event, you might even want to bring the host a gift or something like that, thanking for the invite. There's lots of things that you can do to make yourself different, make yourself stand out. But being prepared again will give you the confidence to interact better at the event as well.
That's good. Thanks for sharing that. We're going to be looking forward to that course. I kind of got that all that in there. That's great.
And where can people find that guide? That's amazing.
Well, that's a free resource on purplecowbranding.com, and on the nav bar on the right-hand side, big old orange button that says free resources.
That's good.
And we've got about 10 different resources up there to help you improve your networking skills.
That's good, because I know a lot of people struggle with that whole networking thing, and it doesn't.
Well, and people underestimate the power of networking and relationships. Period.
Well, Brianna, you're so true there. I mean, I'm telling you, my business last year, which of course, last year the COVID thing, and people are just trying to survive. But my business grew last year, and I owe it all to networking.
Sure.
Yeah, definitely. All right, well, let's talk about your business a little bit. SmartOffice USA, tell us about that. When did this company come about? What brought you to this?
Well, SmartOffice started 12 years ago, and we deliver the #1 VoIP phone system on the planet. And of course, we compete against the big boys like RingCentral and Vonage and Nextiva. But I've been in the phone business. That was my first sales job back in 1983, so a long time ago. And I was very successful with a Fortune 500 company where I was the #1 sales rep nationwide.
Wow.
Then I decided to go out on my own. So that was 1990. And I've bought and sold a couple of companies in that time period. And then I started SmartOffice 12 years ago, where I combined the VoIP phone systems to internet, to IT support, IP cameras, and cabling. So now I'm kind of call myself the one-stop shop for office technology. And my primary market is small business owners, probably, like 30 to 40 employees and less.
Yeah. Wow.
Great.
Okay. That's good.
exciting.
And then you've got the Purple Cow branding, which is another piece of this. You're
Yeah.
branding and social media and.
Yeah, Purple Cow branding's really, I'm very passionate about that right now. Of course, I got the name Purple Cow from New York Times bestseller Purple Cow by Seth Godin, who's kind of my marketing hero. A funny story there is when I started the company a few years ago, I got an email from Seth. And before I even opened it up, I was thinking, oh my God, these are the lawyers. They're after me. I'm using the name Purple Cow. But it was a congratulations saying, hey, I really like the name of your company. Good luck. Call me anytime. And right there, he instantly became my hero. Where a guy where he could have done something negatively, but so that was really, really cool. And I have a lot of Seth's books in Rob's library. But I got motivated 5-6 years ago about that because I gained my passion for small business owners. And when I would sell them a phone system, then in getting to know them, they'd say, oh man, I just got ripped off from a digital marketing company with my website. And the story that hit home was a very close friend of mine who is a local author as well, spent $7,000 to a company, on a marketing plan, and he got, not that he got no sales from it, he got no leads from it.
Yeah.
So it was just $7,000 down the toilet. And that's when I said, oh my gosh, I'm going to do something about that. And I formed, Purple Cow Branding, where we help small business owners really by kind of doing DIY programs where we give them information where they can do it themselves so they can keep up with it. And we're just really a kind of a tier one, a level one marketing agency where it's geared for the small, the startup, the small business. And once they get to a certain level, we can pass them on to a bigger firm, someone that's more qualified. So we kind of know what our limitations are, but we can help the young startup or so on keep their budget low, give them a quality product, and help them and point them in the right direction.
Which is really good. He's got his niche down. I think it's so good because I think that's so important. So many times people have businesses. That's something that I had to really work on even most recently because I went through one of our partners, 1IE. They're a nonprofit and they do basically a startup boot camp to help startup businesses really go from that startup process all the way to if they want to get acquisition at the end. And so I went through that, but I also have been working with an accelerator since I guess November. And that's been a lot of that we've been talking about is just really getting who is your market? Who are you trying to market to? And stop trying to market to the masses because you can't, when you don't market to the masses, you're just marketing to everybody and you're not getting in on on who you really need to be helping. And so that's one of the things that I, as a business, have been really working on and I finally got there. But who is my key person that I'm trying to work specifically with? So I think that's important.
It really is. I read a book a couple of years ago, Superfans, and I can't think of the guys. He's a big podcast guy. One of those the famous internet guys.
Yeah.
But his book about superfans is everybody sort of gets maybe discouraged in podcasting and so on because they think, I'll never be able to get 1 million followers. I'll never get 20 million views. And they get discouraged, where the whole book was about you only need a community of 400 or 500 people.
Yes.
Now that brings it down to the local level.
Yes.
To the just the normal average person, right? And it becomes realistic then. And because we all know through friends and so on, 400 or 500 people. So really that would kind of really hit home to me saying, oh man, I don't have to do that big grandiose picture. 400 or 500 people, I can work hard at that.
Yeah. And I think that's when you start getting into creating that community, it's like when you're thinking about clients, it's much harder. And you know this from being in sales, because I've been in sales many years. It's much harder to get new people than it is, like you want to keep your people. Once you've got some, you got to hook them in. Once you've got them in, then your job is to keep them. So your emphasis in business should always be, we don't need a large quantity. We want quality. So you get people in and you work to keep those people as clients.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, one of the biggest things that we discuss in our staff meetings is our value-added services, how we can improve them, how we can keep on having new ones. So again, we want to hold on to that valuable client.
Yeah, this is good. We got a lot of good stuff in this. Good
Couldn't
stuff.
agree more.
Did you have a question?
Well, yeah. So you've been networking, working hard, doing sales for so many years. Did you ever get to a point where you were like, oh, this sales stuff is just a lot? Sales is difficult. It's a tough, especially going door to door for so many years. And as you said, starting your own business. At what point did you, or was there ever a point where you were thinking, you know what, maybe this isn't for me anymore, or maybe, I need to switch careers altogether?
Right. That's a great question. And you know what? To be really honest about that, no, I've never thought about giving up. And let me tell you, my story is one where I've had the ups and downs. I mean, I've had a lot of downs where it would, be discouraging to switch careers and so on. Or it's like when you go into sales and your mother says, when are you going to get a real job? No, it's. I think it's because of the competitive spirit within me. Don't quit. One of Winston Churchill's famous speeches where he said, "Never, never, never quit." It was just I had. I wanted to have this company. I wanted to serve my customers. I wanted to give them the best service, and that's what kept me going. Is constantly improving. And knowing I could do it. And the failures, again, is the whole thing of Abraham Lincoln. He lost 7 elections before he became, president of the United States. And so I think that's the journey One of my favorite new quotes, even though it's an old quote, is Teddy Roosevelt's "In the Arena." Man in the arena. I mean, I just bought the quote, and it's going up in my wall in a couple of days. And just to read that, every day is so powerful. And so, yeah, there is, like you said, Brianna, I mean, sales is tough. Owning a business is tough. But, it's Simon Sinek's book, Start with Why. If you start with why, then you'll know if you can be a business owner and so on. Right. If you can't define that, then I would discourage people from owning their own business. Yeah. You've got to know your why and what you're passionate about.
So he answered your question, what keeps him in the game. He kind of just covered
his
that
why.
The why. Yeah, he kind of covered all. That's good. And I think that is so important. The why is. And you're right. And you know what's interesting? Even sometimes when you're out networking, and you talk to people that are, and because you network like I do, and you'll talk to some people and they don't really even know why they're doing what they're doing. And you're like, why are you doing this? Are you just doing this because it's a check? Right. Or I don't get it. Like you gotta know that, because there are days, and like you, I think we all have, even when we say there are moments where like, I want to give it, we don't really in our mind know we're giving that up. We know really we're not going to do that, because that's just not who we are as people, But I think what pulls us back is we know why we're doing what we're doing every day. We get up, and even though we've had sleep does the body good. Like you go to bed, you're in that bad frame of mind, you get up and it's like a brand new day again, right? Like it's all going to come out, But I agree with you. I think that why is huge.
Yeah, absolutely. And, once you've got that deep inside you, then that can overcome those things that you're saying, Brianna.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah. Absolutely.
That's why we like to ask that question. It's not even so much to say, did you, because we know you're not, but it's like, what is it that keeps you going in there? And you kind of answered that for us.
Yeah.
So
what keeps you in the game?
Yeah.
Because you're right. This entrepreneurial journey is challenging. And for people who are tuning in and they're either thinking about starting a business or they're in the midst of their business, I always say, like, it's not for the faint of heart. Like, this is not for everyone. So you have to really think about if you have what it takes to kind of see because it's a long haul. It's a long game.
Yeah, absolutely. You couldn't have said it better. One of the probably the number one book I give away the most in my library is The E-Myth.
Oh yeah.
Michael Gerber is a New York Times bestseller.
It's a great book.
In the early 2003, and it's the E-Myth revisited, because his first book came out in the 80s or 90s or something. Yeah. But again, it's a nice business parable about starting a frustrated business owner, and then the consultant, the guide, comes in and helps her, and it goes over the 7 pillars of having a successful business. But people have to understand there's really is a big difference by being skilled as I'm the greatest plumber. And why am I making this money for my business owner? I should start my own company. And what they realize that they're a great plumber, they're a technician. Do you have the entrepreneurial knowledge and spirit to be able to become a business owner? So it's a different job from being very good at your craft versus becoming a business owner, which is a different craft. And that's a big struggle that entrepreneurs have. There's a lot of entrepreneurs out. I think that's probably the number one thing that they have to learn is the skill set of becoming a business owner, and that's where the E-Myth Revisited comes in, and to me is a great learning lesson for them.
It's an excellent book, and I love also how he talks about the worker, right? So as the business owner, you're the visionary. You need to be spending time creating and having a vision for your company and taking them there, versus being the worker bee who is the person who is cooking the burgers.
That's right. Exactly.
You can't be all of the things,
right?
And I love how Gerber talks about that inside. Now, when he does E-Myth Revisited, is there another? Is it him that brings back Revisited, or was there another author that got involved? I forgot.
No, it's his.
It is.
It's his book.
This is a great book. If you haven't read it,
I haven't read it, but
it's an excellent book.
Yeah, no, I need to read that. But it's interesting that you say that, because I think I shared that when I met you and when I did that presentation, that one of the things that drove me crazy in the space that I was in, because I came from the network marketing space, and I think network marketing is a great opportunity for a lot of people. But one of the frustrations that I have or had, still technically in some companies, but I'm talking, this is now 23 years that I've been in that world.
Right.
One of the frustrations that I had, and you touched upon this, was that people would come in with this idea of creating a business. They wanted to own something, but they didn't understand the entrepreneurial side, the mindset of it. And I certainly did. I didn't when I started. I didn't, but I had parents that were entrepreneurs. So I got to witness some of that in my home life, enough to understand enough about it. But that was one of the things that frustrated me, was that I could teach somebody how to do a business. I could teach them how to cold call. I could teach them how to do scripts. I could teach them how to do follow through on we didn't have CRMs back then, but we had systems. Right. I could teach all those things, but I could not get that through to them if they didn't have the right headspace to be an entrepreneur, because no matter how the scripts worked or any of that, they couldn't weather the ups and the downs that come with owning the business. Yeah. And so I think that is huge.
Yeah, it really is. And Brianna, since you're a Gerber fan, I would recommend you to get a book of his called Beyond the E-Myth. And that is a new book in Rob's library. So if you come visit, you'll be able to have an opportunity to maybe select that one. But Beyond the E-Myth then takes that next step where you're preparing your business to be sold.
Yeah, that's very good. Very good. Thanks for sharing all that. It's good. So I'll have to check that book out too. I hadn't heard that one yet. So good stuff. Lots of good stuff there, Rob. Thank you. I had another question and then I just lost it. It went poof out. You have one?
Well, I love this question.
Go for
what advice you would give to your younger self?
What would I give to my younger self?
Yeah, what advice?
I think without hesitation, the answer is go find yourself a mentor. As soon as you get out of college, go find. I haven't had a mentor in my career, and I've done it the stupid way, the hard way, and that's why it's taken me a long time to get where I'm at, and it's because I did not have a mentor. And so yes, I'm right now I'm mentoring a couple of young. I take on interns through my program, and then two of them that left me a year ago, and I'm very proud to say they both got sales jobs at Fortune 500 companies.
Wow.
And then I'm mentoring them right now and helping them, and that was the whole thing of get a mentor.
Yeah. And I think that would apply even, now as somebody starting a business, basically get a mentor. I think that's so important in everything. It's like the guest one of the guests we had on earlier that was talking about not reinventing the wheel. And sometimes we play stubborn. We have to feel like we don't need that help. We are going to go out and we're going to do something. We're just going to change everything up. And then we had this saying in one of the companies that we'd always say, KISS, keep it simple, sister, or something like that. And just keep it simple, basically.
Right.
You don't need to reinvent everything. Get somebody that knows what they're doing. Find them. I would say, like, if you're going to go run a marathon, who are you going to ask about the marathon? Are you going to go try to do it by yourself? Are you going to go talk to somebody who has never ran a marathon? Or are you going to go find somebody that did it and completed it, like successfully went through it?
Right. Yeah. No, absolutely.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Yeah.
Well, I think some people also are, I don't want to say ashamed, but they're proud. They feel like if I need to go ask for help or find a mentor to show me the ropes, and that means I'm either not competent enough or I don't know enough, or maybe they're going to think I'm.
Or you just like me, I just want a good one. I just want somebody who really has walked the talk, like they got it,
Some people just don't want to ask for help.
Yeah. I think that, people are embarrassed and so on. But I think one thing that I want to just put out there is the fact that when you get a bunch of old guys like me, is that we want to help young people.
Sure.
And that's what again, like I say, I'm in my fourth quarter. I want to give back. I don't want people to go through what I went through.
Right, right.
I didn't graduate from college, but I graduated from the University of Hard Knocks.
Yes.
You
learn a lot in that, Rob. You can learn a lot.
I know. I learned a lot.
That's
and
right.
It takes you too long, Jennifer.
Yeah.
It just takes you too long to do that. So yes, get a mentor.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, everybody has to learn on. I'm stubborn, so I can appreciate that because I think everybody has to learn on their time because people are not ready to receive until they're ready to receive, right? Like,
Yes.
I've had mentors like my entire career, and there have been some that have come into my world that I've just been like, it's gone in one ear and out the other, and then another one's coming, and I've been at that moment, I was ready to receive, and it was like it landed at the right.
Yeah, well, it's like that. What's that famous quote where they say, "When the student is ready, the teacher will appear."
Yes,
or something like that.
Right.
I think it's so true. I think that's our human nature is that we just it's up to us.
Good stuff. There's a lot of good stuff, Rob.
Absolutely.
Good things. So should we do some fun?
That would be some
Fun
great
questions.
idea.
Not that these were all good. You offered a lot of good stuff, and people need to check
thank
out
you.
this resource that you have about networking, and be looking forward to this online course that you're going to be creating. I think will be fun. Mm-hmm. You guys are great. I'm still trying to figure out my online course. I have a mentor for that. I actually do have. I'm working with an accelerator right now on that, and he's good. He's a lot of money, and he's really good. But I'm still not ready to do that. I'm still not ready to put that thing together yet. So, anyways, you want to start this off?
Absolutely. Okay, this is our rapid fire
right.
phase of the podcast.
It's supposed to be fast.
It's
but we
supposed
don't-
to be.
Okay.
fast. It's
don't
not
always
always
do it
fast.
fast.
I'm like, supposed to answer this
Sometimes we
fast.
just suck at the fast part.
All right.
So we're going to attempt
Yes.
quick answers, rapid fire.
Okay.
Okay. So the first question is, I'd like to know what the first concert you attended was.
First concert that would be Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan. Green-eyed lady, lovely lady. What was the name of that group?
I know what he's talking
Green-eyed
about.
lady, lovely lady. I can't think, but yeah, it was the late
You know-
60s.
Do you know
All
it?
right.
Chloe's going to figure it out. Get back to us, Chloe. What is it?
Late 60s.
You said Saskatchewan. I like that. I got a friend from Saskatchewan.
All
That's so
right,
fun.
cool.
That's fun. All right. Because you have a library and you have lots of books and you were spinning off all kinds of quotes at his favorite book all time.
Ooh, good question.
He's going to have too many.
I
He's
know.
like, this
Yeah,
could
and that's my answer. It's too many. I've got a top. It was a top 10. Now it's a top 20 because I buy about 25 to 30 books a month.
be, wow.
And then there's always one or two great
Yes,
ones there. And so
yeah.
every month, all of a sudden, boom, it blows me away. But, just if I can just reel off a few here, Start With Why is awesome. One of my favorite networking books is Never Eat Alone. Think and Grow Rich
Yeah,
was the first book that got me onto my journey about reading. I wasn't really much of a reader when I was probably 21, 22 when I picked that book up, and boom, that kind of changed my life.
Is that Napoleon?
Napoleon Hill.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a great one. Stephen Covey's The Seven Habits.
That's
is
one of my favorites.
Another great
Yes,
one.
that's one of my
there.
favorite.
So yeah, just a lot of great books.
I talk about that. They hear me talk about that one a lot.
Yes.
Steve, yes.
Okay, favorite type of food?
Great question. I'm a foodie. So I mean, I love sushi. I love steak. I love Snuffers cheese fries.
Oh, I do too. Do you dip them in ranch?
Oh yes.
Yum,
Oh, absolutely.
yum,
Yes.
yum,
Yes.
yum.
Yes. Lots
I'm
of
thinking I need
yeah. When I order the cheese fries, I say, bring me extra ranch. But yeah, I love food. I mean, everything. I don't like lima beans though.
I don't like lima beans either. Those are
like lima
or
beans.
pinto beans. I don't like those either. Now that you're talking about beans.
You,
Okay.
You like refried beans?
I do, but
Refried beans or pinto beans?
well, no, I didn't mean pinto. I meant the black. I meant black eyed peas.
Black-eyed
Black
peas,
eyed.
yes.
Sorry, I do like
Yeah,
pinto
I'm
beans,
not-
but I
I'm
don't like all right refried beans either. Don't buy the fat free in a can. My kids like those. Those are awful. They need like lard or something. I'm like, do not give me fat free
put some
refried beans
chorizo
in in a can. All right, favorite destination spot.
Probably, we go to Canada just about every summer, but we haven't for 2 years because of COVID. But we go north of Toronto, where there's all these cute little cottages, and I call Hallmark towns. I'm a big Hallmark fan, where I've watched like over 300 Hallmark Christmas movies.
You are good, Rob. That is good.
We celebrate in our office. When Hallmark does the Christmas in July, we have our whole office decorated for Christmas the whole
fun.
month. So yeah, so we did it this year last year for the first time. So this year we're going to kind of promote it to our networkers
Yeah.
and have Christmas parties. And I bake my famous shortbread cookies, and yeah, we have a fun
We
time.
need to go to his.
I'm coming.
Yeah, invite us when this is happening.
I love to bake at the holidays.
Yeah.
So it's perfect.
Yes.
Yeah, and she can show up with her little Christmas hat and everything.
Yeah, that's right. We wear our ugly sweaters and everything.
See? Yeah,
Oh,
good.
that's
That'd
so
be fun.
funny.
And we play Hallmark movies, Christmas movies.
I'm going to do the final question. And this is a question we haven't asked in a while, so I'm kind of excited to ask it. If you could be any superhero or character for the day, which one would you be?
Ooh.
This is a
Well,
good one for him.
That's a tough one. Superhero, since I don't watch all that
Or
stuff.
character,
Or character.
like animated character.
Okay, animated character. Wow. Well, I guess I think I'm going to go with Superman because Clark Kent was kind of a conservative kind of guy as a real person, and that's kind of the way I am. But he loved to help people, and that's kind of my passion is helping
That's
people.
good. We've not asked that one in a long time.
know.
You're a good play for that one.
Well done.
We don't ask that one to everybody because sometimes it's like we start. That was just a good one today.
Thanks.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you. Awesome. All right, Rob, you've been fun. This has been super fun. I'm excited.
Yes. Thanks for coming into studio today.
So, if our listeners want to learn a little bit more about Smart Office and Purple Cow branding, where do we want to send them?
We want to send them to SmartOfficeUSA.com and then purplecowbranding.com.
Okay.
Perfect.
We'll make sure when this gets ready to go out too that we have those web addresses in there so they know where to go.
Super.
So we'll get it all connected in the right space.
This has been great. Thanks you so much for inviting me on your show.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. We want to say to our listeners, of course, if you enjoy our podcast, please be sure you give us a rating both on iTunes and Facebook because we can't do this without you, and hit that subscribe button on YouTube.
That's right. And we're going to leave you with one final thought before we say goodbye for the day. Amateurs sit and wait for inspiration. The rest of us just get up and go to work. And that's from Stephen King.
That's right. Just get up and
Like
go
that.
to work.
Go to
I like
work.
that.
That's right. All right. To live the extraordinary, you must start, and every start begins with a decision. You guys take care, be safe, and be kind to one another. We will see you next time.